This season of the Urban Conservative Podcast is brought to you by Newton for Senate, working to improve education, reduce taxes, and keep North Carolina #1 for business. Find out more at newtonforsenate.com.
This episode of the Urban Conservative has also been sponsored by Case Technology Consulting. Help your business get value out of its data and become more efficient and streamlined. Case Technology Consulting. Check out the link in the description.
Country illegally cast a ballot. It takes the power of your vote away. Visit onlycitizens.vote to find out how you can contact your legislature and get them to pass a citizens-only voting amendment. Again, visit onlycitizens.vote and defend your right to vote.
I served in the Army 26 years, retired as a colonel. I started a business from scratch that created a lot of great jobs for veterans. We help the military develop ways to defeat IEDs, improvised explosive devices, saving the lives of hundreds of American soldiers and preventing thousands of serious injuries. Now let this conservative fighter take on Biden's mess at the border. I'm Lori Buckout. I approve this message.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what it is. It's time for Top of the Morning here on the Urban Conservative. You are joined by none other than Abdul Ali. I got to give big shout out to my twin brother, Raheem Architect Soto, who is on writing assignment this morning for the South Shore Press. Big up to everybody over at the South Shore Press. On your screen, you see it, ladies and gentlemen. If you are in North Carolina, it is going down on April the 27th. 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., presented by Americans for Citizens Voting, the Carolina New Leadership Summit. We are honored to have Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson, Representative Ken Fontenot, Craig Scott, myself, Clarence Henderson, and so many other folks joining us for the Carolina New Leadership Summit. It's about ensuring that we take the reins of leadership here in North Carolina. If you want information about this event, you can visit Americans for Citizens Only voting website at onlycitizens.vote. You can also go to the Facebook page for the Frederick Douglass Foundation of North Carolina, and they will hook you right on up so that you can go ahead and get registered for the New Carolina's Leadership Summit. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a Tuesday. Hope all is going well for you. I did want to plug one more shameless plug in there. If you have not done so already, I need you to go over to aliforcongress.com. That is ALIFOR, Congress.com. to support my run for U.S. House District 12, which is all encompassed within Mecklenburg County. It's all the city of Charlotte, within the city of Charlotte. Again, that is ALIFOR, Congress.com. We are asking everybody to contribute $24.24 to help us do more in 2024 to take on Alma Adams and the radical left here. Joe Biden got to go. Alma Adams got to go. It's just that simple. But again, I hope you are enjoying your Tuesday morning so far. We've got a very interesting show for you this morning. Let me put it this way, okay? The reality of it is that diversity, equity, and inclusion is a new thing. I can remember a time a few years back, I'd never heard of DEI. Like I'd never heard of it. I didn't know what it was. I just assumed that, people would treat people like they told us when we were growing up, according to the content of their character and not the color of their skin. That is not what today's left is about. Now, like I know, we don't use Wikipedia as the end-all, be-all for definitions and such, but let's just, before we get into this Stacey Abrams, Al Sharpton thing, let's take a little look at the framework so we're all on the same page. DEI are organizational frameworks which seek to promote the fair treatment and full participation of all people, particularly groups who have been historically underrepresented or subject to discrimination on the basis of identity or disability. These three notions, DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, together represent three closely linked values, which organizations seek to institutionalize through DEI frameworks. Some experts say diversity and inclusion should be decoupled in some cases. Some frameworks, primarily in Britain, substitute the notion of equity with equality. So equality, diversity, inclusion, EDI. Other variations include diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. I didn't know there was a DEEB. It'd be a DEEB. Justice, equity, diversion, and inclusion, Jedi. You can be a Jedi or EDIG. Diversity, equity, inclusion, and access. An idea. DEI. Oh my goodness. Diversity refers to the presence of variety within organizational workforce, such as identity and identity politics. It includes gender, culture, ethnicity, religion, disability, class, age, or opinion. Which is a little baffling to me, ladies and gentlemen, because that seems to occur naturally. That just seems to diversity actually between gender, culture, ethnicity, religion, disability, class, age, or opinion. Once we got rid of laws, segregation laws and stuff like that, it appears to me diversity happens naturally. Enforced diversity doesn't work too well. Equity refers to the concept of fairness and justice, such as fair compensation and substantive equality. More specifically, equity usually also includes a focus on societal disparities and allocating resources and decision-making authority to groups that have historically been disadvantaged, and taking into consideration a person's unique circumstances, adjusting treatment accordingly so the end result is equal. Folks, Thomas Sowell said it, a man is not equal to himself on different days. This idea of this uniform end result of equality does not work well. And finally, inclusion refers to creating an organizational structure that creates an experience where all employees feel their voices will be heard and a sense of belonging and integrate. This is very jargony, y'all. It just feels very, very jargony. So the other thing that I did this morning was I went and took a look at some of like the DEI jobs. And it's like there's no real just end result of what they want people who they hire in these DEI jobs to accomplish. I've not like got a clear, we want 23% of our workforce African-American, 23% Hispanic, 5%. We want our workforce to be reflective of there's no tangible outcomes. There's no real, it's very jargony is all I'm going to say. So what you end up with, right? What you end up with is Stacey Abrams, who we all know, goes on to Al Sharpton's MSNBC show. Right? Now, the interesting thing about this is she's about to talk about Democrat strategy for 2024, what she's worried about, what she thinks Democrats need to do. You know, Al Sharpton, that when I was growing up, they said, if you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. So I'm going to go ahead and take that don't say nothing at all approach at this point about Al Sharpton, because I really don't have anything nice to say about this grifter, about this guy who continuously, constantly, without fail, utilizes the sorrow and pain of a group of people for his own well-being. You can't tell me that America in 2024 is as racist as America in 1960. You just can't tell me that. It does not. The facts don't bear out that is the case. But let's take a listen to what Al Sharpton, Stacey Abrams had to say about DEI. Check this out.
Do you fear with all of the demagoguery and the real, I would say, base anti-women, anti-black, anti-Jewish kind of campaigning that we're seeing?
Where are we seeing this? Can somebody help me find the anti-Jew campaign? Oh, it's liberals. It's Democrat liberals who are anti-Jewish. Alma Adams voted against condemning racism on college campuses because we were talking about condemning anti-Semitism. She voted against doing that. So what is he talking about?
Women, anti-black, anti-Jewish.
Who is campaigning on anti-black?
Jewish kind of campaigning that we're seeing out of the Trumpsters.
He said that crap with a straight face.
Do you fear that that could be wiped away if we're not alert and mobilize the base?
We have to remember that
when he says mobilize the base, he means mobilize everybody who thinks everything is about race. That's what he.
Every victory, built into every victory, are the seeds of defeat. but also built into every defeat are the seeds of victory. We have seen victory, but we cannot rest on that victory and think that it is impermeable and impervious to harm. What we know is that the attack on diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, is an attack on democracy, it's an attack on education, it's an attack on how our economy works, because what Reverend Warnock and John Ossoff...
Yo, the ability for these people to say this stuff with a straight face is baffling to me. It's completely baffling to me how she could suggest that being against DEI initiatives is an attack on democracy. How? How is it an attack on education? How is it an attack on the economy? I don't understand how these people can sit there with a straight face. She said that, I mean, I can't make this up.
...are the seeds of defeat, but also built into every defeat are the seeds of victory. We have seen victory, but we cannot rest on that victory and think that it is impermeable and impervious to harm. What we know is that the attack on diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI, is an attack on democracy, it's an attack on education, it's an attack on how our economy works, because what Reverend Warnock and it's an attack on DEI is an attack on democracy, it's an attack on education.
How? This is the problem, is we let people get up and just say stuff. MSNBC, I mean, of course they're going to let her rant, and it's Al Sharpton and Stacey Abrams. Well, on the other side of this commercial break, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a look at the John Stossel interview with the former DEI director, who is now against DEI because he realized how foolish it was. So y'all don't go anywhere. We'll be right back here on top of the morning here on the Urban Conservative. Don't move.
Doesn't mean you have to vote Democrat. This year, in order to see benefits for our communities, we need to vote outside the box. Find out more by visiting us at tuconservative.com.
Have brought you chaos at our border, failed foreign policy, sky-high prices, and out-of-control crime. It's time for new ideas and new leadership. Vote Abdul Ali for U.S. House District 12, and let's make America better. Paid for by Ali for Congress. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're back top of the morning here on the Urban Conservative. We're talking about Stacey Abrams appearing on Al Sharpton's show, talking about DEI is now part of our democracy. That an attack on DEI is an attack on democracy. It's an attack on our education system. It's an attack on our economy for some reason. That's what we talk about this morning on Top of the Morning. Now, here we have a professor, Eric Smith, who is formerly a DEI person. Let's hear what he had to say about it.
Why not tell people to check their privilege? Some of us have privilege.
Yes, but some of us are accomplished, and that's being called privilege. And
Whoa. Wait a minute. So let's be clear. Let's be clear. If you are a person who has parents that told you to work hard and that you could accomplish whatever you set your mind to, and that you could be whatever you wanted to be in this country, and you worked hard and your parents worked hard to provide for you, somehow, some way that equals privilege in the minds of people on the left. Like this brother just said, some people who they're calling privileged are accomplished, are people who had to work hard to get where they are. Are we going to forget about the book White Gold, where Irish were brought to this country as slaves? Are we going to forget that what it took for Italian immigrants to become prominent in this country? Are we going to forget what happened to the Japanese in the internment camps? Are we going to act like that didn't occur and that somehow these people just now have this ubiquitous skin color privilege as if they never had to experience anything negative in this country? I totally agree with what the man just said. Some of us, it's not privilege, it's accomplished.
yes, but some of us are accomplished, and that's being called privilege. And I think that's unfair. It's one thing to be born on third base and act like you hit a triple. It's another thing to be born on first base and still second, right? And again, third. You know, that's an accomplishment.
And that's frowned upon now?
Well, it's frowned upon by people who find it strategic to frown upon it.
Yikes. Great analogy right there. It's one thing to be born on third base and act like you hit a triple. It's another thing to be born on first base and steal second and steal third. It's another ball game, ladies and gentlemen, to work for what it is you want to accomplish. And that is what we are losing in this country when we look at DEI, when we look at what affirmative action and giving people jobs based on the color of their skin or perceived socioeconomic position. Because you're black or because you're Hispanic or because you're Asian, you need this. Never mind the cream rising to the top. Never mind putting people in position because they worked for it. Never mind that. We had a video where Al Sharpton was basically saying, you know, this big boogeyman of racism is to blame for everything that's happening. That's essentially what we're dealing with. So this professor makes a very good point in that regard.
Yes. If you can keep this race thing going, then you will always have a business in getting rid of racism.
Ooh. Wow. Love to hear that. If you can keep this business of racism going, you'll always have a job fighting racism. Now, the interesting thing about this is that there is a class of Negro, I forgot who said it, who make their living. Hold on, I'm going to find the quote. Keeping the, hold on, who said that? Who said that? Was that, hold on, I'm going to find it right now because he said it more succinct than I'm going to say it. Booker T. Washington is the one who said it. There is a class of colored people who make a business of keeping the troubles, the wrongs, and the hardships of the Negro race before the public. Having learned that they are able to make a living out of their troubles, they have grown into a settled habit of advertising their wrongs, partly because they want sympathy and partly because it pays. Some of these people do not want the Negro to lose his grievances because they do not want to lose their jobs. And that sounds to me like the DEI crowd. We got to keep this racism thing. We got to keep what I call CRT, constant racial tension. We have to keep that going so that people like Al Sharpton have a job doing something. People like Stacey Abrams can continue to be in the political spotlight because they keep this air of grievance. We watched the George Floyd funeral where Sharpton got up there and talked about this boogeyman of white supremacy and this boogeyman of basically bias. What do they call it? It's this bias. You got it. You just don't know you got it. So this idea, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to bring this back because he said it very succinctly.
Well, it's frowned upon by people who find it strategic to frown upon it. Yes. If you can keep this race thing going, then you will always have a business in getting rid of racism. Even Ibram X. Kendi proposed a branch of government, right, regarding anti-racism. And what do you need to justify that? You need racism.
Wow. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I think he put it very succinctly, very clear. You know, the goal here is to continue for people like Al Sharpton, for people like Stacey Abrams, for people like Ibram X. Kendi, for people in that whole vein to continue to trod the problems out there, to act like the America of 2024 is the America of 1930 or the America of 1900 or the America of 1850. When we all know in reality, we're talking about a country that has come a long way. And I've said this before, we've got a back-to-back, y'all calling black, okay, back-to-back black president, back-to-back black secretaries of state. We have 2 black justices on the highest court in our country. We have black mayors. We just talked about yesterday. You got LA, a major city with a black mayor. Chicago, major city with a black mayor. New York, major city with a black mayor. Houston, Texas, black mayor. Atlanta, Georgia, black mayor. All of these people are in positions of power. And these folks, the Stacey Abrams, the Al Sharptons of the world will tell you black people have no control. They'll tell you black people aren't in control of the system. When Larry Elder was on the Breakfast Club and they talked about how black people don't have any control. When he talked about how it's a black mayor, black police chief, black lieutenant commander, black everything. But somehow we need DEI. Somehow a country that was able to overcome slavery, a country that was able to overcome Jim Crow, a country that was able to move past the racism, move past slavery, a country that has provided more opportunity than any other country in the world for those who were former slaves to succeed. No country in the world saw a people become as literate as Black Americans have come as fast anywhere in history. However, they want to tell us now that DEI is required. In a country that was able to accomplish all those great things, now they want to tell us DEI is the way to go. But ladies and gentlemen, we're here to tell you that is not it. You work hard for what you get. This is a great country. This is a great place. You have opportunity here that you don't have anywhere else in the world. That's why, and Clarence Henderson says it the best, you see people dying to get here, but nobody's dying to leave, ladies and gentlemen. Well, there you have it. Let us know what you think in the comments. Is DEI democracy, or is DEI just a way to continue the race baiting? Let us know in the comment section. Please hit us with a like, share, follow, subscribe. And once again, if you are in North Carolina, make sure you join us on April the 27th, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. for the New Carolinas Leadership Summit. That is going down in Greensboro, North Carolina at the downtown Greensboro Marriott. You can visit the Urban Conservative or onlycitizens.vote to find out information about that. And make sure you are back here directly with us, live and direct tomorrow morning for Top of the Morning here on the Urban Conservative. And remember, the question of the day, ladies and gentlemen, is DEI democracy? Do we require DEI? Again, let us know what you think in the comments. For my twin brother, Raheem, Architect Soto, I am Abdul Ali. Y'all have a positive and productive Tuesday. Peace and love, y'all.
Have brought you chaos at our border, failed foreign policy, sky-high prices, and out-of-control crime. It's time for new ideas and new leadership. Vote Abdul Ali for U.S. House District 12, and let's make America better. Paid for by Ali for Congress.